In 2024, Volkswagen, the largest automaker in Europe, announced it was considering closing German factories for the first time in its 87-year history. Tens of thousands of jobs gone. The reason? A law that had already taken effect before a single factory closed. A law that Volkswagen had publicly championed for years. Last line, quieter, slower, final. They didn't just fail to see this coming. They supported it. They embraced it. They positioned themselves as its biggest winners. And when it started to destroy them, they quietly changed sides and hoped no one was paying attention. To understand what happened to Volkswagen, you have to go back to September 18, 2015. That was the day the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency issued a notice of violation that would shake the entire automotive industry to its core. Volkswagen had been caught, not in a minor oversight, not a legal gray area. Volkswagen had secretly programmed 11 million diesel engines worldwide to cheat on emissions tests. When the car detected it was being tested in a lab, it activated a clean mode. When the same car drove on real roads, it pumped out up to 40 times the legal limit of nitrogen oxide. The world had been driving a lie. 11 million of them. The fallout was catastrophic. More than 30 billion euros in fines, settlements, and recalls. 2 CEOs forced out. The word Dieselgate entered every language on Earth. And in Wolfsburg, in the boardroom of the company that had just destroyed its own reputation, one question was being asked at every level. Voice turns quieter, harder. How do we make sure this never happens again? The answer they chose would become the next scandal. In 2018, Volkswagen appointed Herbert Diess as Group CEO. Diess was not a cautious man. He arrived with a plan that was, by any standard, audacious. 35 billion euros. VW would transform itself into the world's leading electric vehicle company. They would launch over 70 new EV models. They would build battery gigafactories across Europe, and they would publicly embrace the European Union's proposed target to ban the sale of new combustion engine cars by 2035. Inside VW, Diess framed the 2035 framework not as a threat, but as an opportunity. If Europe forces a hard transition to electric, every competitor who hasn't made the investment is finished. And VW, with the infrastructure, the models, the supply chain would be waiting for them. Voice turns harder. This wasn't environmentalism. This was competitive strategy. They were using the regulatory process to do what they couldn't do in a boardroom, create a legal barrier that smaller, less invested rivals couldn't survive. VW executives gave interviews praising the EU's ambition. The company published sustainability reports framing the 2035 target as exactly the kind of decisive action the industry needed. They positioned themselves as the reformed automaker, accountable, forward-looking, and ready. There was one variable Diess had not fully calculated for. Not Chinese cars from 1990, not cheap knockoffs held together with hope. By 2023, Chinese automakers, BYD, NIO, SAIC, were producing electric vehicles that were 30 to 40% cheaper than VW's equivalent models. And they were good. Range that matched European competitors, software that was better, build quality that shocked automotive journalists who expected to be disappointed. The regulatory barrier VW had spent billions building. China didn't need to dig around it, they flew over it, and they were landing right in VW's core markets. VW's EV division was losing money on every car sold. The ID series, the flagship of VW's electric future, had cost billions to develop, and sales were soft. In 2023, Volkswagen sold fewer EVs than Tesla sold in a single quarter. Meanwhile, the 2035 framework VW had championed was forcing every European automaker to accelerate EV investment that was increasingly flowing to Chinese battery suppliers because European alternatives weren't ready at the required scale or cost. VW's factories, built for combustion engines, retooled for EVs at enormous cost, were running below capacity. The workers who had spent decades building the Golf, the Passat, the Tiguan, were now building cars that weren't selling fast enough to justify the plants they worked in. Voice drops, quieter. And Herbert Diess, the man who had staked the entire company on this strategy, was removed, July 2022. Officially, disagreements with the supervisory board and the works council over the pace of transformation. In plain terms, he was right about the direction, but the restructuring was moving faster than 300,000 employees could withstand. They fired the driver, but they kept the destination. The factories stayed retooled. The €35 billion commitment stayed on the books. The successor, Oliver Bloom, endorsed the strategy within weeks of taking the role. The bet was still on. It was just no longer Dies's bet to lose. Wolfsburg is not a city where Volkswagen happens to have an office. Volkswagen built Wolfsburg. The company employs more than 70,000 people in that single city. 1 in 3 jobs across the entire region is tied to VW in some form: directly employed, supplier chain, services, logistics. When VW announced in September 2024 that it was considering closing German factories for the first time in 87 years, it wasn't an abstract financial disclosure. It was a city holding its breath. Workers who had spent 30 years on the production line. Families where grandfather, father, and son had all worked the same plant. Suppliers who had built entire businesses around VW contracts. Communities that had grown up in the shadow of the factory gates. Voice becomes level, careful. These people did not make the strategic decisions. They did not approve the €35 billion bet. They did not attend the EU consultation meetings. They did not give the interviews praising the 2035 transition. They built the cars, and they would pay for the strategy. And then, in December 2025, the European Commission did something almost no one had predicted. They dropped the 2035 ban. After years of regulation, after hundreds of billions in forced industry investment, after factory closures, job cuts, and restructuring across the entire European automotive sector, the Commission announced it was abandoning the effective ban on new combustion engine cars. Pause. One beat, and Volkswagen, the company that had spent years publicly embracing the 2035 target, positioning itself as the champion of Europe's electric future, issued a press statement welcoming the reversal. Hard, quiet. They cheered when it passed. They cheered when it failed. And somewhere in between, the factories started closing. Let's be precise about what happened here. Volkswagen was caught running the largest emissions fraud in automotive history. Instead of a genuine internal transformation, they chose a public repositioning that aligned with their competitive interests. They bet €35 billion on being the dominant EV company in a Europe that would be legally required to go electric. The bet assumed Chinese competition wouldn't arrive fast enough. It assumed the regulatory framework would hold. It assumed that the same political processes that built the law couldn't dismantle it. Every assumption was wrong. Voice turns cold. The workers didn't make those calculations. The workers didn't get the severance packages when things went wrong. Herbert Diess left with a reported multi-million euro payout. The executives who approved the strategy kept their positions. The factories were still considering closures. The math that failed was built in a boardroom. The price is being paid in Wolfsburg. When large corporations engage with government regulation, it is almost never because of principle. It is because regulation is a tool, and tools can be aimed. The 2035 combustion engine ban was sold to the public as climate policy. And maybe it was, partly. But for Volkswagen, it was leverage. And when the leverage stopped working, the principle disappeared with it. Voice lowers. 11 million cars. 30 billion euros in fines. 87 years as a company. 70,000 workers in one city. They knew the Chinese competition was coming. They hid the extent of their EV losses. And this is the proof of what happens when the strategy unravels. The executives made the calculations. The workers absorbed the consequences. And the company restructured, rebranded, and moved forward. Last line, slow, final, heavy. The only thing that ever changes is the number on the spreadsheet. Consequence. Question voice becomes direct, present tense. And here's what I keep coming back to. In 2026, if this is the pattern, if this is what happens every single time, what makes you think the next scandal will be any different? Corporations don't change because they feel bad about what they've done. They change when enough people refuse to pretend the math doesn't exist. This story starts with Dieselgate. And if you want to go back to where it all began, that investigation is on this channel. Subscribe for a new investigation every Thursday. Turn on notifications.